A grand dam has left 3 African nations divided. The Grand Renaissance Dam is a source of national pride for Ethiopia. But for Egypt and the Sudan, the dam is a headache. They fear it will cut off vital water supplies. All 3 partners have been trying to reach an agreement, but the latest round of negotiations has failed. Our next report tells you what Ethiopia, Egypt and the Sudan are sparring over.
This is Africa's largest dam, a flagship infrastructure project of Ethiopia. The dam took 10 years to build and the cost close to $5 billion. But the Grand Renaissance Dam on the Nile has now become a source of tension. Egypt and the Sudan, 2 countries on the downstream, fear their water supplies will dry up. Last week, the 3 countries had agreed to hold further talks. On the agenda was the filling up and operation of the reservoir, but the leaders failed to reach any conclusion. Sudan raised objection to Ethiopia's plans to fill the dam's reservoirs. The Water and Irrigation Minister of Sudan shot off in a statement. He warned that Khartoum cannot continue this vicious cycle of indefinite talks. The Sudan says millions of lives will be at great risk if no agreement is reached. Egypt calls the dam an existential threat. It depends on the Nile for nearly all of its irrigation and drinking water needs. Despite the talks, Ethiopia remains determined to fill the reservoir. Last year, Ethiopia wrote a letter to the African Union. It said for the second year, it will fill the dam's reservoir with more than 13 million cubic meters of water. Egypt and the Sudan fear this is Ethiopia's bid to control the Nile's waters. So far, the Ethiopian government has done little to pacify these concerns. Last year, the matter reached the United Nations. Both Egypt and the Sudan raised their objections.
It is essential to realize that this megadam, which is Africa's largest hydropower facility, potentially threatens the welfare, the well-being, and the existence of millions of Egyptians and Sudanese citizens.
Ethiopia must ensure that any potential negative impact of the project is properly addressed and adequately mitigated in close consultation and cooperation with the downstream countries.
Since then, all 3 parties have held several rounds of talks, yet failed to break the deadlock on Africa's biggest dam. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.